Radio Hereford FC, the only station with full match commentaries of the Bulls. Every game, every week.
Hello and welcome to a very special We're Going Down the Pub with me, Frank Williams, and Simon Wright, as we look at a couple of our new players. Now we've started this season that we will actually look at all FA Cup games, whether they're home or away, and we will look at any new players that come to the club. And I'm going to pull you up straight away.
Oh Lord.
You started off this script in front of me saying, as a teenager, Dara played for St Keith's Boys FC.
Right.
He's still a teenager.
Okay.
He's only 18.
In the original draft, it was young teenager.
As a young teenager.
Okay.
Well, that would have been as a kid, wouldn't it, really?
Do you not think 18 is a man these days rather than a teenager?
Well, it certainly is where Dara's concerned.
I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's got great attributes as a player, and as we'll find out later, we must be very lucky to have him, really. Okay, tell us a little bit about Dara.
Yeah, Dara, I mean, this is something I had to look up. I have no prior knowledge of Dara because, you know, even though I watch Albion, we're not actually allowed to see our young players. You know, they're kept behind closed doors, but there you go, it's my particular moan. As a young teenager, Dara played...
Well, you did see him play at Slough.
I saw at Slough,
in a pre-season friendly.
I did, yes, I didn't...
So he's not totally kept out of the...
No, we'll come on to that.
Okay,
we'll come on to that, okay. Now, he played, as you mentioned, for St Keith's Boys. Now, I have to say, I knew nothing at all about St Keith's Boys, but they are...
considering they're very famous, that's very remiss of you.
It's shocking, isn't it? Yeah. Very well-known football club in Dublin. They've got 48 teams, and they use 6 different locations, you know, because they've got so many matches.
They're trying to hide their players as well.
Oh, well, they just... yeah, something like that. But they're alumni. That's a good word, isn't it? Alumni. Okay. Liam Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Damien Duff. Ian Hart. Jeff Hendrick. Robbie Brady and Stephen Carr, and that's just the more well-known players. The list goes on, you know. Now, every year, St Keith's, they stage the Emerald Cup.
Emerald. In the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
That's so original, isn't it, really?
It is. But it is one of the best-known youth tournaments in the world, and basically all the big names send teams. Albion send a team every year. And not just send the team, they actually send their people.
They're on the nick.
Yeah, well, sort of. You know, they're a bit more than on the nick.
But they do get the pick of the talent.
They do. More so than Liverpool, Man U, because they put the legwork in.
Yeah.
They make the point of getting their people to talk to parents.
And presumably they offer finance and expertise.
They do. St Keith's has a coaching academy, and Albion are the official partner for that.
Right, okay.
So it is very much money and expertise.
This is the explanation of why so many Irish players have made their name with West Bromwich Albion.
Well, it helps. I mean, I'm not sure they all come from St Keith's, but I'm sure, as you know, Albion have got 4 Irish internationals.
If they run 48 teams over 6 locations around the capital city, they're going to get the cream on their
Of course they are, because the name gets around as the place to go if you want to get noticed, you know.
Yeah.
When he was just 16, Dara moved to England to chase his dream with the Baggies.
Sorry.
All right, okay, oh dear. Look,
chasing a dream.
I'm as cynical as you are about them these days, but...
Chasing a dream with the Baggies.
Yeah, okay.
Nightmares are dreams, aren't they? Yeah.
And you're not gonna rile me about Albion. I'm so cynical about them.
But they do offer impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they are Category 1. There's only 26 clubs in the UK are Category 1 youth academy. If you've ever seen the huge facilities Albion Academy have, they've got this massive indoor arena, and they've got huge training facilities out in Warsaw. Better now, they can offer a scholarship at Samwell Academy College. which is probably an area you're familiar with.
Well, Sandwell Academy is built on the site of the first school I taught at.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is right next to the Albion ground.
And it's a mighty smart place now, isn't it?
It is. Can I tell you, I won't just tell you a story, this has nothing to do with Dara at all, but it just shows the Sandwell work ethic.
Yeah.
When I first taught at what was then the Thomas Telford High School, it was a real 1960s building. It was all prefab stuff like that. And my classroom, as a raw teenager teaching geography, was on the third floor, overlooking the playground of the Albion Junior School, which has now gone as well, I think. And one day I looked out of the window with a group of fifth years. We call them 50, they weren't year 10 or that days anyway. Out of the window, and we watched as the council came, Sandwell Council came, and marked out the netball court on the Albion Junior playing field, on their playground. Netball court, tennis courts, all that sort of thing. The following day, they came and tarmacked it. No word of a lie. And I did inquire of Bill Jones, who was the head teacher of Albion Junior School, and he used to drink in the pub down the road. Now, I can't remember the name of the pub. I think that might have been a Wagon and Horses as well.
Yeah, the Wagon and Horses.
Yeah. I mean, quite of him, why such a strange thing could happen. He said they got the work orders wrongly dated, and they do them in date order, regardless.
Oh no!
That was about 1974, 1975,
right.
2 years after the creation of the Metropolitan Borough of Sandwell, which was the amalgamation of the old Worley and West Bromwich boroughs. And I still see a lad who I taught at the time. I still bump into him occasionally, because he's a delivery driver for DPS at the moment. I mean, now, here I am in my 60s, and he's in his mid-40s sort of thing, we're the same generation now, but he was a school kid and I was his teacher, and we still laugh about that, because he was in my classroom on those 2 successive days and witnessed it. Now, could this be a reflection of the fact that the Albion do get a lot of Irish inputs into their academy, and maybe if they don't make it, they go on to work for the Metropolitan Borough of Sandwell. It could be.
Cool. Okay, I'll take your word for that, Roman.
But just a little aside.
Yeah, a little bitty do. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, back to the point.
Dara, I mean, there's actually several St Keith lads in the academy. He's not on his own. There's 4 or 5, I think, in Albion's academy going through the process. What Albion do, frankly, is a lot of technical training. At academy teams, they play most of their games behind closed doors. They play on perfect surfaces. They play against other academy teams of the same age. Lots of video footage, how do you do that, why did you do that, all that technical sort of stuff. But there's quite a bit of interesting video footage that does show that Dara isn't just a defender, he does score the odd spectacular goal. If you look up Dara O'Shea Spurs on Google, it is a spectacular spectacular goal he scored from 30 odd yards. And that, because it's Albion, because it's Premier League, it's gone all the way around the world.
Don't we have a clip of Aaron Birch scoring a spectacular goal for the Albion?
Do we?
Yes. Was it the Albion that he was at?
I mean, he was at that. He was at Albion.
There's a spectacular goal of him playing in under 23s, I think, for the Albion. When he scored a spectacular one.
Quite possible.
You see, I can't understand this idea of playing everything behind closed doors.
No.
And whatever. And they don't get a window on the world, if you like.
No, they don't.
It's a little bit like a stand-up comedian trying to find out how good it...
Yeah.
Trying to find out... That was one of the bar staff taking away our empty glasses.
Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it?
But isn't it the same as a stand-up comedian having to rehearse in front of nobody, and then
it is.
Unless when he goes on stage, he doesn't know whether he's going to fall flat or not. So they go they go to the Edinburgh Fringe and try it all out to see whether their act works and so on. But how do these players then make it?
Well,
because
exactly.
They're going to go straight from behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Now, Dara, he's going to play in front of 2,500.
Yeah.
But he could be thrown into playing behind closed doors to go in and play in front of 26,000 at the Albion. And
possible,
they wonder why a player freezes.
Well, that's right, and that you wonder why England don't get the players they want because of this weird situation, you know. But other than technical training, what they also get from a good academy, I'm sure Dara's had this, they get lessons in how to talk to the media. They get lessons in how to use social media. They get lessons in how to interact with supporters. So on those side of things, Dara's absolutely sound. I mean, if you ever checked out Dara's interview with Paul Rodgers, that's the absolute very model of doing a pro playing at safe speak.
Hang on, that wouldn't have come from Paul though. That must have all come from Dara.
Of course it did.
No offence to Paul.
No.
But
And
it's amazing when somebody who's becoming a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I wouldn't say veteran, you know, he's still a young lad.
18,
in
but,
Paul.
yeah.
He's actually shown how to do it by an 18-year-old kid from Dublin.
yeah, that's right.
Good interview though. I think it was quite revealing of Dara, and yes, he is quite eloquent, really.
They've been taught. They've all been taught. They generally get sent out to do public speaking with senior pros, so that's quite commonplace. And we understand that Dara's gone out of his way to introduce himself to his new teammates as just another player and not Mr. Billy Big Boots.
Apparently, the rest of the team first met him on a coach at Corley Services. He got on the coach at Corley Services at Coventry on the way to, that would have been on the way to St Neots.
Yeah.
The first time he met the present team, and he made a point of going up the coach, shaking hands with everybody and introducing himself.
And that made a very good positive impression.
It did, and then he got sent off. But
indeed. Of course, he's still 18, and that's a big, that's a big thing to do to go meet all those strangers. But he's 18. He's a proud Dubliner. He loves the Gaelic. I've got a vague thought now. This may be completely wrong. His dad, Sean O'Shea, may be a Gaelic football player, but unfortunately, Sean O'Shea in Ireland is like John Smith in England. There's hundreds of them.
Doesn't it give you a little bit of when you feel down there when you're there with a professional football club in England, Premier Football Club, and you're given the number 50 shirt when you're a number 5? Yeah,
it'd be great to get a shirt at all, but yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's an academic thing, really, isn't it?
But he was quite heavily involved in pre-season.
Yeah, it is impressive. But you do have to bear in mind that Albion fielded 2 first teams most weekends, most Wednesdays, most Saturdays. So that was like 30 players. They haven't got 30 players, so they got lots of young players in to make the numbers up. He did go to Austria though, because Albion do boot camp every year in Austria, and he went with the first team and did a lot of training, running up and down hills, getting on bikes, etc. Yep. They played a sort of a token match against Slavia Prague. He got 45 minutes, which great experience. He also travelled with the first team to the Hong Kong Cup. I'm sure you're familiar with the Hong Kong Cup, mate?
Yep.
Of course you are. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a 4-team tournament with loads of money, which is televised live by Sky each year. It's an expensive farce, to be honest, because the temperatures are in the high 30s and the games are played at walking pace. It really is a bit of a joke, to be honest, but it's, if you've never done it before, it's something new, something exciting. And, in fairness, back in the UK, he played against Warsaw. I think he had 90 minutes against Port Vale, and he also played at Slough, which is a game I was actually at,
right?
Surprisingly. I don't remember very much, but I do remember that he was up against their big target man, Brad Watkins, and he really had a hard time against him. And their other striker, rather irritating, Chris Flood, he found him very difficult as well. A lot of people have picked up that Dara played for Albion's under 23s, and they're sort of saying from that he must be some kind of wonder kid. Well, it's not really true. Albion don't have players who are 21 or 22 and not in the first team squad. Of course they don't. If they haven't made it by then, they're out, I'm afraid. The under 23 is just a poor substitute for old-fashioned reserve teams. Again, they're still playing behind closed doors. But 18 and 19-year-olds regularly play in those games.
Yeah, because in the old days, the reserve teams would have been playing in Birmingham Combination or something like that when they'd be playing. Reserve League.
They'd have a reserve league,
but there isn't
league.
now.
No, there isn't, not at all.
And so it's under 23 games behind closed doors.
Yeah. And of course, He's signed with us. He's signed for us on loan until January, which is a great gig.
Well, he will be.
Yeah, in between the international commitments.
Yeah.
We're not used to that at Hereford.
Well, actually, he was available for Era under-19s last weekend.
Yep.
When he was actually...
he played one of the 2 games, though, didn't he?
Yes, he played one of the 2 games because actually he couldn't play for Hereford anyway because he had been suspended for the sending off. So
we do need to bear in mind.
Still play international football.
Yep.
Got that out the way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Era under-19s, for allowing that to happen. We're very grateful to you.
Yeah. We will bear in mind next
Not that
international
they listen,
break.
by the way.
No, of course they don't.
I'm sure that the
Republic
of Ireland Football Association do not regularly listen to our podcast.
It's their loss, isn't it? It's their loss. Shocking, really. But
I'll send them a copy. I'll send them a link to this, so they can get our thanks.
Yeah, and the Albion media team, they'll love it. They'll be alarmed as hell, but there you go. Okay. Bear in mind, there's another international break in October, so he could miss 1 game, maybe 2 games. And there's another international break in November, so he could miss another game then. We never have thought about these things before, have we? But
no.
No.
I don't know whether he would be eligible to play FA Cup games anyway. I mean, it was the FA Cup game he missed. Whether he would have been eligible to play in them, or whether Albion would have...
They're not going to cup tie him. Albion go out in 3rd round anyway. But now, I guess because where he got on, I imagine he travels to games with Jack Bowen. I think they're probably quite close to each other.
Right.
It's a big chance really to learn from men and play against men, to get used to the physical side of the game, as he very much said in his interview with Paul Rogers. You can imagine that Jack Bowen's got a few ideas on how to play against men. He's not exactly a shrinking violet, is he? I mean, the reality is that Albion will have Dara watch. They'll have somebody there, or they'll be asking for videos. That's what they do. Of course, he's had his first sending off.
Well, the man has become a man.
Yeah.
The boy has become a man.
Which actually is a great learning experience. I think I read an interview in non-league paper which a guy gone through the same thing and said managers won't look at you until you've had your first sending off, because you need to learn from that. And he's learned from that, hasn't he? Since then he's found a better way to stop an opponent, as we saw at Royston.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'm a little surprised we've got him, because I've heard from a decent source that Albion don't usually let players go out on loan to part-time clubs for fairly obvious reasons. Because what do full-time professionals do on non-training nights? I mean,
well, if your name is Wayne Rooney, you probably drive a VW Beetle with a lady of the night at your side and get done for drink driving.
Yes, well, that's Wayne Rooney, isn't it?
Well, you did ask.
What about the rest of the world?
What full-time professionals do when they're not training, and I've given you a perfect example.
Exactly.
But if you're on a coach at Corley Services in Coventry, however, you're not likely to get caught the same way.
Of course you're not. I mean, people are going to say, what about Ethan Ross? Well, Ethan Ross is an exception. He's Albion's 4th choice keeper, to be honest. I don't think he's going to make it. He's a keeper in his last year of his contract, so badly needs to be playing football, so he's gone to Redditch. I've no idea how Beeds pulled this deal off when other Albion 18-year-olds have gone out to league clubs. Warsaw, Exeter, Yeovil, clubs like that. I don't know how Beeds has done it, but credit to him, I mean, I hope it's for a better reason than Dara's contract is up in June. I really hope it's something better than that. I'd like to think Albion recognise Hereford as a sexy exception, and Dara's loan is the first of several. That could be a great
I don't know how you can say Hereford. Well, sexy. I don't know. I mean, I might be.
We are.
Yeah, you might be. Keith Hall certainly isn't. But
we're a sexy club.
We are a sexy club at the moment. There's no doubt about that, and we're very grateful to the Albion. I'm afraid they've been made an exception. We could be an example of the exception proving the rule, or vice versa.
It's baffling. I'd like to know more, because logically, if you want to loan to a Step 3 club, you go to Stourbridge from Albion.
Well, that's true, and it's very interesting that Dan Preston has come from Stourbridge. Now, we'll talk about Dan Preston
we will.
now. But I'm very well aware that this is quite a long podcast. So if you're interested in Dan Preston, I'm going to tell you that we're calling him the Library Man.
Dan Library Book Preston.
Yeah, he's like a library book. Why is he like a library book?
Because he gets loaned out and returned.
Right, fine.
Yeah, would you like more on that?
Yes, go on.
Fine theory.
Yeah.
And apologies to Dan, it's not meant to be.
He says turning page.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. Well, last season, Dan Preston started the season with AFC Telford. In October, he was loaned to Sutton Goldfield Town. They sent him back at the end of the month. In December, he was loaned to Leamington. They sent him back after a month. Same again in January with Hensford. It really is becoming like a library book, you know. Yeah. Poor guy. Out for a month, gone back again. And in Stourbridge come along in February, you know, yet another loan. His 5th club in 7 months.
Well, actually, the nominee shouldn't have been fined for late return.
You should have done, yeah. Well, Stourbridge wasn't a 1 month loan, but they kept him to the end of the season because they got so many games to play.
Right, okay, so that's why we're calling him the Library Man.
Yes, so there you go.
I must admit, his first appearance for the newly reformed club, although he had played for Hereford United previously, only lasted a half before he got himself injured, blocking what would have been a certain goal.
That was brave,
but he had a very impressive 45 minutes alongside Dara O'Shea. So tell us a little bit about
that.
that.
Okay, well, he's a Brummie.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah, we seem to be calling it quite a few Brummies, one way or another. Raised in Kings Norton, which I think is Brummie area, Blue Nose territory, and as far as I know, he still lives there. He attended the same local Catholic school as Gavin Marn, and there's a useless fact for you.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll move on rapidly, okay. In his younger days, he was with the Birmingham City Academy, as were his 2 stepbrothers, one of whom, James McPike, is now a youth development coach at the Albion.
Now, just wondering.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
These two lone players.
Right, at almost the same time.
Although, and the other thing is that Gary Hackett of Stourbridge is ex-Albion.
Exactly.
As well.
Very well connected.
And Dan Preston's stepbrother is a coach at the youth and also Dara O'Shea has come from the same source, and they both came at the same time. Is a very interesting. Maybe we're delving.
We're making 5 out of 2 and 2, but
easily done.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. People may remember the first time that Dan Preston played for Hereford, which is Hereford United, of course, back in 2010. We were a League 2 club then. His debut was a bit of a shock to anybody's system, really. It's a Notts County. Hereford lost 5-0 and had 2 players sent off. Now, what a hell of a start that was. He played just 4 League 2 games in 2 loan periods for us. But as it happens, those matches are the most senior games he's ever played in his career thus far. At the time, my memory, like Dan Preston at the time, Hereford, they put players' shirts on eBay. And Dan Preston's shirt was the cheapest by far to buy. And I got within 10 seconds of buying that shirt.
Well, who outbid you?
I don't know. Somebody nipped in, somebody I never heard of, last 10 seconds.
Or wasn't it Ludlow Bull or a Leinster Bull or something like that? Or a Tamworth Bull.
Oh, Tamworth.
We haven't got a Kings Norton Bull, have we?
No, we've got a Tamworth Bull.
Okay.
So there you go. I almost got Dan Preston's shirt.
Anyway, he went back to the Blues.
He went back to the Blues.
In more ways than one.
He did. He did play in the first team, but not for very long. He had 10 minutes in the League Cup game for Blues at the Stadium of Light in Sunderland, and that was it, I'm afraid. And the local press got very excited then. They described him as a teen ace. I'm getting a bit carried away there, but to his credit, he later donated his shirt to his Catholic school, which is a nice touch. Predictably, he got released. And since,
they all do from the Blues.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Actually, you would think it's a blessed relief.
Exactly, blessed to get out from the Blue Nose. He's tried out most of the senior non-league clubs in the area.
Yeah, one at a time on loan.
He spent most of his sort of career since in Telford and Tamworth.
Yes.
Between the two, to his credit, he's played 130 games at step 1 and
he
step
will
2.
have played with Rob Purdy
He
at
will
Tamworth
at Tamworth,
when Rob Purdy was acting manager for half the season.
Lord,
now, could that be another link?
I think that could be a very interesting link, yeah.
But that's a lot of games.
It's a lot of
130 games.
Step 1 and step 2, that's
at a decent standard.
Yeah, that's right. And as we said, he's since turned out for Stourbridge, Leamington, Hensford, Sutton, and Barrow.
Barrow?
Yeah, I think he took a wrong turning. He's probably got the same sat nav as me. Yeah,
but he's taken a wrong turning at Lancaster. Yeah?
Yeah, it's
about 50 miles north of Liverpool.
It's a pretty substantial.
Perhaps he was on a holiday in Blackpool at the time. And
he was kidnapped
just
perhaps,
up the road.
Yeah.
Or on Morecambe Bay. Perhaps he was cockling on Morecambe Bay.
Oh Lord, will he do that?
Well,
it's okay.
Yeah.
He seems to have been around for an awful long time, but
he's only 25.
Yeah. He'll be 26 later this month, but he's still, he's still youthful.
Yeah. We're just skipping the paragraph about him being a library book at the moment.
Bring that out, didn't you?
Yeah.
With Stourbridge back end of last season, he played 17 games. That's step 3 at a decent level.
Yeah.
Played in the playoff semi-final against Workington as a fullback, so that's a handy bit of versatility if we lose our fullbacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I must have seen him half a dozen times because I saw Stour a lot, but sorry, Dan, I don't actually have any memories of you to share. I guess he's one of those quietly effective defenders you don't really see.
He played this playoff semi-final against Workington, as you say.
And
it's
I mean, they sort of had to rotate their squad. They were having a game like every 3 days, In the summer, he transferred properly to Stourbridge. It was kind of a very short-lived sort of thing. He fell out of favour very quickly, and I think he hasn't played any minutes with Stourbridge at all this season. And now he's with us, so that's 6 clubs in 12 months. That's certainly going a bit. And it must be no fun for him being a Lone Ranger.
Of course, he is a proper signing. He's not a loan player.
No, it's a proper signing on dual registration forms, I understand.
Yeah, well, I think that's if you're not sure why, it's because obviously Stourbridge play at the same level as us, albeit they're Northern Premier, and they don't want to transfer his registration to us, and then us transfer his registration to another Northern Premier side, and they end up playing against him.
It seems a bit mean. I mean, they're not using the guy. He wasn't first choice, so I don't know.
Well, he played 17 games for them at the end of a very successful season.
He did.
17 games are getting on towards half a season, so they must think something of him. But he is surplus.
Yeah.
Of course, they lost a lot of players last season. They brought new ones in. Who are some of the ones they've lost are now returning to them.
They are.
So
good side. I suppose the wider point really, Hereford now, maybe for the first time, have a group of players travelling south. We've got Macca, we've got JB, and we've got Dara, all travelling, and Dan Preston, of course, from Birmingham or Warwickshire. That used to be Aaron Birch's moan, if you like. He was doing a lot of miles pretty much by himself.
Update on Aaron Birch. He's now skipper.
He's skipper at Sutton,
Sutton, and they're third from bottom. Again.
He's one of the few players they've had a complete clear out. It's one of the few players they've kept, but there you go. We understand you, Birmingham and Warwickshire, Hereford players. We understand what it's like. We us Black Country Bulls trek up and down the M5 as well, although not as often as you guys do.
They only go into Hartbury, don't they? It's only a little trek down the M5. They don't have to go. They don't have to take the sort of cul-de-sac route to Hereford.
No, they don't. But it's hard work after work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Big ask. So, all credit to you guys. Thanks very much for doing it. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, that's a little guide to our 2 new players, one loan and one sort of permanent signing, although we don't hold his registration. So we now have 4 centre halves, at least one of them partially fit.
Yeah, good position to be. Yep.
Yeah, it is indeed. thank you very much for listening to this special podcast on new players. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch up with you again very soon.
Next bath time, yeah.
Thanks for listening.
This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls. Match Day Live.